Get out the insurance cards, get out the co-pays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by Roto.com.
So let's get to it.
Bring the pain!
Self-high-five to all the fantasy football champions, and we're going to have ourselves an award show today. What's up, everybody? It's Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain. What's up, Dan? How you doing?
What's going on, bro? I'm doing good.
I'm coming in like a hot banana. I'm coming in like, I don't even know what a hot banana, they call that a plantain, I think. You can cook plantains.
You cook bananas too, but I mean, you make dessert out of them, right?
Yeah, I cook bananas, man. You know, that's the best part about it all, man. Well, as everybody knows, the Fight Club of Pain does a bunch of UFC bets, a bunch of UFC DFS. Well, there's none of that going on right now. We already did our futures show, so you're going to have to go check that out. So if you want to think who we think all the UFC champions will be at the end of the year, go check that out. Also, I mean, I'm excited. The fantasy football season is over for most people. This was your first full season doing fantasy football, at least in a league with me. How was it for you, man?
Yeah, it was cool, man. I mean, my commissioner's a cheater, though.
I almost lost that match.
I'm just messing with you, but I'm just messing with you.
I almost lost. Here's a little thing. The guy I almost lost to, Justin. He's a Ravens fan. And on top of that, too, he's a good friend. This dude, between the baseball and the football league, has beat me in, I gotta say, 5 or 6 championship games. Like
So you won?
No. Well, yeah.
So you won the championship?
I'm the champion. Look at that right there.
I came in what, 4th? 5th?
Yeah.
4th.
I didn't see. Did you win this week?
No, I lost last week.
Oh,
so I came in.
Okay, so you came in 4th, so you won this week.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, so I don't even know if I won this week. I didn't know I was playing, so I didn't even set my team.
Oh. Well, most people don't actually set their teams at that stage of the season. So a lot of people kind of just do that. But at the same time, man, I mean, it was a fun season. I will add the hard tight end position next year, so everybody will have to start one tight end. That will move off the flex. I'll probably keep it the same way. I'll just add the tight end so that you can't start as many running backs. And maybe everybody will draft running backs this year.
Oh, add a kicker, too. Do one defensive player and one kicker.
Did I take the kicker away this year? I took the kicker away. I did take
no
the
kicker
away.
We didn't have a kicker this year.
Yeah, I didn't like the kicker. It practically I voted it out because for me that's why I gave the extra defensive player. I figured the extra defensive player would make up for the points with the kicker. So that was my deal.
Sometimes kickers score like 15, 20 points.
We don't need that business. We don't need that business in fantasy football.
I mean, I'm drafting Chris Boswell, so you know he's gonna. He's not. What's up, Angie?
Oh, we got some comments coming in. What's up, Angie? Anyway, yeah. So everybody, this is a live show. We're gonna be giving out the fight of the year, fighter of the year, both men and women's. So that's all for the UFC only. I know there's a PFL event or Ryzen. There's a Ryzen event tomorrow. So we'll probably be able to throw some money on that. I haven't even looked at it. So we just don't do that. And we got to be able to make money off of it, people. This is a product at Dr. Roto. So if you haven't been to the website, get to the website, use code word WIN, and hopefully you are our rich friend so we can go win some money for DFS. We'll talk a little bit about DFS best ball, but I don't want to go too deep into it because I'm going to make a whole podcast about it. But this is an award show. This is also a fantasy football championship award show.
Man, can we do Soup Can of the Year?
We can do Soup Can of the Year.
All right.
We can definitely do that. That worst fighter of the year. And
Patchy Mix. Patchy Mix.
Oh no, man! I think Rafael Sequeira got it worse.
Patchy Mix
beat his ass.
Patchy Mix is the bum of the year.
Yeah, but he didn't get knocked out. That's the one thing. He didn't get knocked out.
No, but he got punched in the lips 77 times in a row.
Yes, through 2 matches.
In the same lip. Same lip. His
He's
upper
gonna
lip.
donate that lip. A freshly beaten UFC lip. $10,000 starting bid. So, that's what made this year so fun going into it. I mean, we'll switch a little bit out of football, and we'll probably dive back into it at some point. But what made this year special is, of course, starting your podcast journey like we talked about last week, and then bringing everything into fruition, learning, finally using and utilizing the round robin practically as perfect as we could to be as contrarian, cover, and have a chance at bigger money while putting a lot of bets together, of course. So the fact is that we were able to learn, adapt, grow, not only as a show, but in our skills and prowess of the UFC sport and the betting and DFS side of it. You think so, Dan?
Yeah. I mean, this year was a learning. It was a learning experience for both of us because, I don't bet, so everything that I know about betting, he taught me. So, and, and at the beginning, you didn't really know a lot about the UFC, so I kind of taught you stuff about that too. So.
Yeah, and you're correct about that. Again, it didn't matter that I was a fighter and that we could use these skills. I had to understand the product I was looking at. And so for me, of course, that product was numbers at first. And it's more than that now, but the product was a lot. I was that guy. I was guys looking at the numbers. I was listening to what you were saying. I was talking to the other members in the Fight Club in the Facebook group. And, I was learning because that's what I do. I'm a hands-on. I'm always a video approach to the NFL. MLB, you can kind of put your stuff. You just kind of know the people, and there's a lot of batters, pitchers you can go through, who to attack, which day to do it, when. That's a big issue. If they're playing in Coors Field, that's a massive, massive advantage for DFS slates for the MLB. But when it comes to fights, your fighter just has to have, I guess, a bad day at the toilet if it's really going to equate to something. And that's really what makes the UFC just as good, if not better, than a lot of the other betting and DFS sports.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I completely agree. I mean, the UFC is so much different than any other sport when you're betting on it because they could be heavily favored to win by knockout, and they could lose by knockout in the first round. It's all one lucky punch.
That's it. And so I think this is where people who bet every other sport and only money lines for fights don't understand that. They don't understand why the negative 1,300 loses. It happens. Sometimes you have a bad approach, or you just kind of go into an area, you're like, I'm going to do this. Kind of like you could even use the Alex Pereira fight the first time against Ank. He kind of went in there and was just ready to defend the takedowns and went and throw his backhand or his reverse punch. Next thing you know, he goes in there and he goes, I'm going to wreck this fool. And he beat the shit out of him. So that's what happens. So I love that aspect of it. But the fact that you can hedge, this is what makes the UFC different. For everybody that's jumping in, this is a live show. You want to talk, you want to ask questions, you want to give out some ideas or whatnot, just throw them in there. But this is what makes the UFC different. I can take a Bijan Robinson touchdown prop, and I can take a Puka Nacua touchdown prop, and I can hit them both, right? Well, that's the knockout for both fighters. The thing is that that's that own single bet. And instead of having to make two different bets and win two different bets, you make one bet. Now, you can also first and second round, first round, second round, or third round, second, third round, or guess the winning minute and round. That is where it gets a lot more intricate in being able to use it to your advantage against the books, pushing it towards both fighters obtaining this knockout or submission, as opposed to picking one side. I guess at first that was a little confusing for you, but you understand that a lot more, right?
Yeah. I mean, just betting in general was confusing for me because I never really did it before this year. I'd make a parlay on the NFL, just who would win. Just take, straight games, who would win. But I never really looked into it and the way we break it down. And, I've won a few this year, and I lost a few this year. So.
Yeah. And I think that's where, again, going back to what we try to do at Dr. Roto, why we're one of the cheaper DFS sites, but why we're going to all hear Dr. Roto on Saturday in the morning, and pretty soon Saturday and Sunday, because baseball season, they have Doctor on 2 days. So that's a big thing, being having that connection to Sirius XM Fantasy and doing all that. And again, we constantly say this. This is a goal of mine this year, is to get Sirius XM Fantasy to get people on. And I really want to get Juicebox Walker on with Doc in the morning so that they could do an interview and bring in that thing. But he's right now so deep in a fight camp that sometimes these things might not be possible. But it's something that that I want to make possible, because I feel that it's worth talking about, at least in one show during baseball season, at least too. Like the whole year we got UFC, but we're not going to talk about baseball. We're going to talk about a guy trying to beat another guy by throwing a ball. How about somebody trying to dissect somebody with their fists, right?
I agree. There's nothing like it, man. Nothing like it. I'm a big boxing fan. Don't get me wrong, but there's nothing like the UFC, because you can win so many different ways.
So speaking of boxing, since you want to bring it up, the Jake Paul Joshua Anthony fight. Talk about it. Dave.
Man. He saved boxing. He did. He saved boxing from Jake Paul charades. I mean, I understand what he was doing. He was making money, and he was bringing eyes to the sport of boxing, and I respect him for that. But he wasn't fighting good boxers, and the only two good boxers he fought, he lost to.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, that's all there is. That's all there is to it. He fought an old, washed-up Ben Askren. Yeah, he fought Ben Askren.
I know.
He fought Nate Diaz, and Nate Diaz took him to a decision in a boxing match where Nate Diaz only threw 50 punches in the whole fight.
That's just wild.
I mean, he fought Tyron Woodley twice. I mean, he did beat Anderson Silva. I'll give him that. But Anderson Silva's an MMA fighter. He's not a real boxer.
Yeah. I mean, he got a knockout on that night too of Woodley.
Yeah. I mean, but Tyron Woodley. I mean, he went from having an iron chin to a glass jaw in a year.
He's Iron Mike Tyson's Punch-Out reverse order.
Yeah, I mean,
Iron Mike, your glass jaw.
He's Glass Joe now. I mean, he gets hit square and he's done.
Must just give him the glass eye, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the crazy things that's just about it. That, like, we talk about this, and we'll get to the awards really soon. We'll leave the Fighter of the Year and we could do an overall Fighter of the Year, but we'll do men's and women at the end. We'll start out with some other stuff. But that's funny because you bring it up, because did you see, I never sent you this list. And so there was this list that went out that these unfortunate fates have come across Jake Paul's boxing partners. So Nate Robinson, no one ever heard from him again. Ben Askren, lung failure, almost died. Woodley, bankruptcy. Tommy Fury breaks up with his hot wife and runs a marathon versus middle-aged women now. Ryan Borland stopped boxing, became a plumber. Guess he knew he wanted to be Mario. And Chavez Jr. got deported. And Anthony Joshua was hurt in a car crash today in Nigeria.
Yep. I mean, I don't know. I think if you lose, if you even touch them, then something bad's going to happen to you. But I don't know what it is. I'm not going to.
There's a cash cow somewhere, a little angry at what happened.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say nothing. But I mean, as a person, I like Jake Paul. I think Jake Paul's a good guy. He helped
Yeah.
Ben Askren. He helped Ben Askren a lot when he had that double lung transplant. Um, he donates all kinds of money to charity. He opened up a
Yep.
boxing school for kids in Puerto Rico. I mean, he does things with his money. So I give him all the respect in the world, but
Yeah.
he is not a professional boxer. He is not.
No.
He's a side.
Professional acting boxer.
He's a sideshow.
Yeah. And it really, if you're just going to have him running exhibitions, so in Erie, when the Bizarros do their boxing promotions, they have these things called exhibition matches.
Mhm.
That's where the beginning fights start. And then there's the main card where there's real boxing going on. And we're talking
Well-
Johnny Boy Bizarro days, Erie, stuff like that. Like, this is a
Well,
boxing family.
What they do, him and his brother Logan. I mean, Logan Paul's claim to fame is he boxed Floyd Mayweather,
Woo! I don't mind the Maverick. I love the Maverick.
but he was 90 pounds heavier than Floyd Mayweather, and it was an exhibition fight. Floyd Mayweather was not allowed to knock him out in the fight. It was in the contract.
Yeah, yes. Brian just brought that up too at karate the other night.
It was in the contract. It wasn't a real fight.
Yeah. And that's why what happened, and now all this bullshit wants to come out. And in conspiracy or not, background little Don King little pulling the strings thing. Oh yeah, I just had to do that. Anyway, that's the kind of thing that kind of goes down behind the scenes at this. We get drama at karate over point fighting. We get that stuff. You've seen it. I mean, you've seen it firsthand because of me. Things happen.
Yeah.
So, when you do all that, you add it together. What's sad is when I grew up, when you grew up, I remember the Mike Tyson era. I loved Evander Holyfield, the Lennox Lewis era. I'll even give credit to the Klitschko's, but the Klitschko's, I think, were just good boxers, but they weren't marketable. And
in Europe they were.
Well, yeah. I'm not going to talk. I'm talking about in the States. So this can be, how do you want to call it? This could be a centralized, biased opinion. But in America, it's been pushed aside. It's been pushed aside by every other sport, especially the NFL. And UFC has even turned a lot of people off of it too. I feel the UFC and even some of the other ones are putting out a better product than what boxing tries to put out now, other than the recent fight with Crawford.
Yeah, there was a lot of politics in boxing for a long time, and the only people that were allowed to win were the people that they said could win. And I'm not saying any names who they are, but everybody can make assumptions. Certain people were only allowed to win, and all the viewers and all the fans got mad because it turned into politics and it wasn't a real sport.
Yeah. And I want to say, I almost want to blame Rocky 5. Well, yeah, Rocky 5 for exposing that, for making a character like Don King turned a pro boxer, Tommy Gunn Morrison, against Rocky for a street fight. Now, that right there alone kind of tells you how that went behind the scenes. It showed how the crumbling can happen, how the relationship between a fighter and a coach can be severed over somebody stepping in, a cash cow stepping in and influencing things. Kind of like like a lot of scandals with the UFC, Isaac Dalgarian most recently, et cetera, et cetera. There's these things that all sports have black eyes, and this is just some of them, and unfortunately they come up sometimes.
Yeah, but boxing is making a comeback, man. It really is. There's a lot of great fight. There's a lot of great fighters out right now, and I wish people would get back into it. It's an exciting sport. It's an art form.
It is, and for me, that's where I feel that part of at least America and putting it on the TV as a brand and kind of what WWE paved the way for the UFC is to make a deal and stop charging $80 for 5 fights when one of them might end or not even start, like
Yeah.
Blanchfield Barber. You're paying to see that fight. The
Yeah.
name, you promoted it,
But
and now
I
we
mean,
don't get it.
under every card, it does say cards are subject to change. Under
Yes.
every card, because they have to watch their backside on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it does say cards are subject to change on every fight card.
Yeah. And for me, that was kind of one of those, where you kind of step into it, you get the feel, and you're like, you go. Let's say you go to a Lakers home game and you want to see LeBron. Well, LeBron might be taking the night off, so your $400 ticket and your $5,000 parking and your $10,000 pop
Yeah,
might you might just be that, and you could
yeah.
just say, "Yeah, I just had a great time."
It might be one of the 25 games he sits out a year.
Yeah, and so for me, that's what kind of went through all of this into a combined thing, and that's why I think where the fall of boxing came in, the rise of the UFC kind of came up, was able to put out some great product, and in a way not overshadow boxing, but kind of put it off to the side as the combat sports top promotion. Do you agree with that statement, or you still
Oh
feel that boxing still has a significant value over the UFC?
no, no. Well, if you want to make more money, you're a boxer.
Yeah,
That's what it is. Boxers make way more money than UFC fighters, unless you're Conor McGregor.
that's right. And that's where even like you hear the comments from Tom Aspinall's dad or whatever the internet's putting into their mouths, what's true, what's not. You could go to Francis Ngannou. He left, but he left because him and Dana White were just clashing. They
Hmm.
weren't they just weren't going to work together. And of course Ngannou was kind of being an asshole himself and inserting himself on others behind scenes, and whether the stories are true or not, we don't know. But the fact is that he gets paid better now to do what he does, and it's easier for him.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
go.
I mean, he doesn't have to take takedowns. He doesn't have to take leg
Mhm.
kicks. He doesn't have to take body shot. I mean, he doesn't have to take any of that. He
Nope.
stands in front of people and he throws his right hand. That's what he does. I
Yep.
mean, that's Francis Ngannou. He's a sideshow now. That's what he is. Yeah, I
And
mean,
that's sad. That's sad, man. So but that's what I'm trying to get at. Is it just now boxing is just the sideshows? That's where just Anderson Silva's going to go? Is that what Holly Holm's going to do now? It's like,
well, Holly Holm came from boxing.
yeah, I know
Holly
that.
Holm was a decorated boxer before she got into the UFC. So
All right, all right. I'll give you that. Okay, I'll give you that. So that definitely works on that. So, but for me, it. I guess what I'm getting at. Do you think it's a UFC retirement pot now, or is
yes,
that?
yes,
Huh?
yes. When you can't hang in the UFC anymore, you go to boxing, and you put on these show fights, and it's like celebrity boxing. That's basically what it
A
is. Because
celebrity death match. Yeah.
yeah, because none of these guys are professional fighters. None of these guys would stand a
No.
chance against Terrence Crawford or Canelo Alvarez or any of the top name guys. Anthony Joshua. None of these guys are ever going to step foot into a ring with them
Yeah.
and last more than 4 rounds. In Jake Paul's case, 6.
It's six. Hey, that was so easy to make money off of too. Like that's the thing that people forget about. Like what we were able to do with the Fight Club of Pain was to be able to nail these finishes. What's funny is I got my FanDuel for the year. I got it, and for the first year, the Fight Club has existed. UFC was my number one betted sport. Now, of course, it was the whole year, but it became my betted sport, my most betted sport, because we were making a lot more money at it. The lines are better. And people are out there just ignoring these lines, Dan.
I mean, start watching the show, man. People got to start watching.
Yeah.
We'll tell you what to do.
We pick those fights. We give you this. Just do that. It's going to make you a profit. We profited this year off of it. My UFC by full destroyed my football. Football's been muddled down by nothing but bots in multiple lineups. You have to only play single entry, and the single entry wins are only going to be $200, maybe $500. So is that what you want to do? Is that what you want to do? You want to be in that boat? You know, I mean, our guy Trevor got lucky. He threw down $444 on a single entry. He went to our DFS Hero site that we have a partner affiliate with, so use code word doc for 20% off. He put that lineup in on Sunday night, the late slate for the 4 p.m. games. He won $297,000. Doink. $297,000. And these people don't want to watch the Fight Club. They don't want to come to Dr. Roto. They just want to stay in their little bubble and think they're smarter than most experts without the tools. That's the problem. People think that, okay, so even me thinking I'm better than the computer, I have access to the computer, and a lot of you do not. So you're getting my side, Dan's side, the computer's side. What more do you need when it comes to the UFC?
And with the UFC, a lot of the time we disagree on the fights, man. A lot of people will just have to make a decision on who they trust more.
Yeah, we had a guy on the Ultra Contrarian show, and Steve is a Ravens fan. So we had a guy. He goes Jacobs or Henry, and I go okay, and I'm like, I don't trust Henry. I feel that the Packers haven't been rushing the quarterback. We got Huntley in there. Willis is in there. Which running quarterback is going to get hurt? I just didn't trust it. I say Jacobs. They didn't even play Jacobs. But Steve said Derrick Henry, 3 touchdowns. So hopefully that guy did play Derrick Henry. But we said that. We said, look, I think I'm being safe. And that's when Steve goes, I know it's a homer pick, but I'd rather take the best player on the field for that day. And the best player on that field was Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
So
hopefully he's not this weekend.
Yeah, you Steelers, man, get your TJ back. So let's before we get into the awards, let's go back. Do you remember the first card? I wouldn't say the first card we covered because I started covering before it, but do you know the first card that the Fight Club started covering?
Give me 1 second. I gotta grab my notebook. Give me 1 second.
Oh, Dan needs his notebook. So while we get that, we'll just also say I made 3 championship.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
No, I'm talking to the crowd, people. I was talking to the crowd, guy. I was talking to the crowd.
Give me 1 second. I got my notebook right here. First card we did.
First card we did. He's got it. While he looks at that, I won 3 fantasy football champions this weekend. Won me some money. Got some entry fees into next year. This was a profitable fantasy football seasonal league again for me. So again, that's what we do with Dr. Roto. You got that answer, Dan?
Yeah, first card we covered was UFC 316.
All right. So that's okay. So we covered 316. I had already been doing a lot of podcasts before then.
That's the first one I did.
So you wrote down. All right. So this is the reason why. So the first one I actually jumped in on. The first one I bet on was Adonisai versus Imavov. And I lost that. I didn't know who Imavov was. Now that I know who Imavov is, I would have picked him in that fight. My first one was Duplessis versus Strickland too, because I've been hearing seeing a lot of Strickland. So I was like, what's this Sean Strickland dude about? All right, so I got interviewed to DDP. Of course, that was in Sydney. So, of course, that's the first time I saw Zhang Weili, and of course, you had that was Justin Taffa versus Teixeira, Jimmy Crute,
I,
Rodolfo Bellato.
I
That
lied.
whole
I lied. It was UFC 314. 314.
okay. I was like,
314.
man, I kept swinging. So that was a good card. I had Colby Thicksnakes
Yeah.
on that
3
card.
314 is the first one I did with you.
All right, so that was 312, of course. So UFC 312 was my first step in. So then after that was Cannonier versus Rodriguez, where Rodriguez got punked, and that's where I learned a good, valuable lesson to make sure you cover. I had the Cannonier second and third round knockout, and it was a plus 700. It returned my money on all the knockout props I had on Rodriguez that night. Cejudo versus Song, that was. I feel like you were around for Cejudo versus Song and Manel Kopp and Almabayev.
I may have been, man. That's the first one I have. That's the first one I have written down. I might have just went off the top of the head on those ones.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah. So we got a little sophistication in here. So yeah, we definitely did that because that, and this is how you'll remember it. Cejudo versus Song was Seattle, and that is when Juicebox Walker fought Menafield.
Oh yeah. I was there for that. I was there for that. Actually, I think the first one I ever did with you was a Calvin Gaslam fight, and I called him the Burrito Bandit, and it stuck.
Yes. Is this one? I mean, man, we had Fili versus Costa. We had Abdul Malik. Oh, dude, I owned this one. This was the one I destroyed for the betting side. Hey, we saw Rafael Sequeira's been getting knocked out all year long. The only guy that didn't knock him out was Juicebox, and Juicebox is mad about that.
But Juicebox beat the brakes off of him.
He did. And people forget Rafael Sequeira is a big dude. He was taller than Juice. But Juice said, I don't want none of that biz. I'm gonna take you out. So yeah, that's where all this started from. And then of course we got the 313 Pettit Anklev. So this together.
Oh yeah. I was around way before 316 then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Emmett versus Murphy because you picked Emmett. I picked Murphy.
Yeah. I mean, I have all of it written down somewhere.
Yeah.
I only grabbed one notebook. I have three over here. So.
And it was UFC Fight Night Moreno versus Ursig. That was my first perfect card.
Yeah.
And I didn't. If I would have did round robining then, now, and I did a 13 leg. I went 13 and 0, and I didn't even put a bet on it.
Oh man.
I did 3s and 4s, and I did it, and that was the 1 week because every week I always try to do, put all the bets in, put the fighters. I just go right down the line, put it all in, put just a bet in. I don't round robin that at all. And that because if I round robin, it'd be like 10,000 bets, and even at 10 cents a bet, I'd be putting out $1,000. But that day, I'd have probably won $100 million because I would have been gold.
Yeah.
That was a great fight, or a great fight card for me. So, there's a lot of different fight cards this year, and a lot of people do that. So, let's get to some of the awards that we were talking about today.
All right.
And let's talk about card of the year. Do you think it's too early for card of the year? What was your favorite card of the year?
Card of the year. Oh man, I really like the what was it?
I'm gonna go.
You go. I got to think about that one.
You gotta think about that one.
Yeah.
So my card of the year is, and we'll just actually go. I'll give you a small list and see if you agree with this, because we're having fun with this, people. We're doing our thing, and yeah, we have some of these written down, but I didn't give everything to Dan. I like to throw Dan off a little bit,
Yeah, you throw me off a lot, man.
He's like, this guy. So let's go with 317 Taporia versus Oliveira and 319 Duplessis versus Chimev, 320 Ankalev versus Pereira 2, or 322 Madalena versus Makachev.
Yeah,
I will say it is
three
Madalena
twenty.
versus Makachev.
Yeah, 322. That's the one I was going to say, but I couldn't
I
remember
know,
which
'cause
one it was.
my female fighter of the year is on that card.
Okay.
This is pretty easy. That's a pretty easy one. So that's fine. We agree with that.
Yeah, 322 was the card of the year, man.
Yeah, that was something we were so excited. I think our show was like an hour and a half that day. That was crazy.
Yeah.
All right, let's. I wanted to get the card out of the rear. Worst fighter of the year.
Patchy Mix.
He's going Patchy Mix. I want to say it. There's probably, but I'm not going to say it. Rafael Sequeira is the worst fighter for me.
He's worse than Patchy Mix.
Well, you get to pick Patchy Mix. That's your FCOP award. You're giving him to Patchy Mix.
Oh yeah, I'm giving that to Patchy Mix.
Patchy Mix. Yeah, you get your own awards, bro. Dan's awards, my awards, because that's what it is. We have, like fighters, we just have different tastes. So Rafael Sequeira is that, and I know that everybody's gonna be like, you're being a homer with Juice Box. I'm not. I won money when I watched that man get knocked out earlier this year, and I won money when he got knocked out last time. So that to me is what it takes. All right, let's get it going. Best debut. Who made the best debut?
Ooh.
We got a ton of fighters. Quillen Salkid, Wellmaker, Gautier.
I have that here. Give me a second.
He's got it.
I got it.
I
actually have Wellmaker written down.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Oh, hold on. Let me.
Like it. Some people are liking Salkids because
Salkid's good. Gautier's good. Vallejos
was nice, and he had a solid year.
Yeah,
He ended the year good.
Yeah. And he could have had a knockout of the year.
Yeah. We will cover knockout of the year. I'm not gonna like it. I'm taking Gautier.
And I really like David Martinez too, man.
Yeah, he was good. He won us some money. I gotta give you that. I mean, this is yours. I'm taking Gautier. You don't have to take Gautier. You can take Gautier. But I just think that every time that man steps in the ring, the other man gets wrecked. Literally wrecked.
Yeah. I think I'm going to take Vallejos.
I love it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I think giving Kevin Vallejos an award is crucial, because I want to remind people that a lot of people doubt against Vallejos, and he had not only a great year, but coming back and getting that was a comeback a lot of people are talking about too at this time of the year. Getting that comeback, getting that knockout, cashing that money for us, that right there is another one of those things that the Fight Club was able to produce for all of you. And because of that, I fully back Vallejos as that as well too. I think both these fighters deserve an award, and I think that honoring both fighters is definitely something we should have did. And we did. So, let's move along. Best striking performance this year.
Best striking performance. I got to give it to Peter Yan in his last fight against Merab Davishvili.
Woo! Dan! Oh! Wow! Okay. That one caught me off guard. And I honestly, I got nothing. I literally had my pick, and I'm like, no. He defended, as a striker, he defended a man that beat him, ragdolled him. He learned, and he took
Boxed his
him
face off.
apart.
Boxed his face off.
I'll definitely give. I like that. That's I love that move. So, who do you think is rookie of the year? Let's say rookie overall.
Rookie of the year. There's a lot of good ones, man.
Yeah.
A lot of good ones. I'm gonna be a homer on it. I'm gonna give it to Juicebox.
Yes.
I'm gonna be a homer. I'm gonna give it to Juicebox, man. What he's what 3-0?
Yeah. Well, he's 1-1 with the loss to Menafield, but that was a decision. The Menafield fight.
He won that.
It was short notice.
Yeah, he won that fight, man.
Yeah, he did. Because that's of course when I was talking with Juice about that, and I was talking with you about that, and you were just like, "Who's Juice Box?" That was the first.
Yeah, or I mean, you gotta give it to Skalid too.
Yeah.
Sal Kid.
Yeah.
You might have to get it to Sal Kid as a newcomer.
We'll give it to Sal Kid. And look, Gautier got an award. You're just crushing fools. But Sal Kid got a sweet ass head knocked out. And that man slumped like a tree. Slumped. And that could even be knockout of the year.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Knockout of the year, Dan.
Knockout of the year. I know a lot of people are gonna say Ilia Topuria, but I love the Carlos Prates knockout of Jeff Neal when he was losing the fight and he came back and he just bounced his head off the canvas.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a really good. And there's a lot of great knockouts.
I love that knockout.
I mean, I can think about Carlos Olberg's knockout.
Yeah. Murphy, that spinning elbow on Aaron Pico.
Yeah, and Pico was on his ass.
Yeah.
On him.
Yeah, Murphy hit that spinning elbow and just put him on his face. I'm gonna give it to Murphy with that elbow.
You're gonna rate that over the Lopez on Silva elbow?
Yeah.
That is. So all day I had this, and I ain't gonna do it. And I'm just gonna do it. You know, it's a fighting nerd. It's Mauricio Rufe.
That head kick.
Out on Bobby King.
That head kick. I knew you were gonna pick it.
You knew it.
I knew it.
Dude, he had that guy knocked out real fast. He's like, doot, what? Now I was like, oops.
Well, you could pick which time Bobby Green got knocked out this year to get knockout of the year.
I don't know, man. Like, there's been so many crazy. Like, Mansour Abdul Malik had that one. That was funny. Gautier's knockouts are insane, though. Like, it's like you punishingly feel bad when they're getting knocked out because you just know those punches hurt a lot.
Yeah, and as much as I hate him, that Topuria one over Oliveira was just crisp boxing. I'm still giving it to Murphy, man. That spinning elbow on Pico, who everyone thought was just going to come in and wreck Murphy, and he knocks him out with an elbow in 45 seconds in the first round.
That was just crazy. That was and to me, I think both of these guys are definitely deserving and worth it. They put the show on, they made it work, and they had. I mean, Rufy, he went back. I saw that he's recently stopped training with the Fighting Nerds as much because he's working on his ground game now.
Yeah,
and he just feels that the Nerds' science of how they dissect the fights isn't working towards his style of learning to defend the grounds. So I can totally respect that. But at the same time, that's what you kind of got to do sometimes as a UFC fighter, as an MMA fighter, is sometimes you can have all the great things working for you in one spot, but you just need this little extra. It's like Rocky 3. When Rocky had to go to Apollo, and had to learn how to box like
Footwork.
Apollo.
Had to learn his footwork, man.
Exactly, Dan. Footwork. Once he learned the footwork, he was able to move with Clubber Lang. So we have a Clubber Lang. We have a Mr. T. We got all this going on, dude. We got Mike Tyson. We got so much fun. So now that we're getting in, let's move along to which one we want to do.
Did you do a submission?
Comeback.
Did you do a submission of the year?
Let's do submission of the year. Submission of the year. You already know mine.
What's yours?
It's Gene Silva on oh dude, I'm losing his name now. Oh. Why am I not remembering this?
Bryce Mitchell.
Bryce Mitchell. I was gonna call him. I don't know why the B was throwing me off. Yes, when he wrapped him upside down and almost ripped his head off.
Yeah.
Just acting like a full demon that entire fight, waiting to take him down in that fight, and then at the same time kind of work at it that way. That to me was just how you truly get a true submission on. You knew you could do it, you worked it, and then you made it happen. And that's what I loved about that match right there.
I gotta give mine to Fluffy when he snatched Roman Dolidze. How do you pronounce his name? Dolidze. I always mess up his name. Where he snatched his neck in the middle of the round, just snatched him up and just made him quit.
Yeah,
I gotta give it to him.
Yeah, dude. Dude, I love Fluffy, dude. That's another guy I can't wait to see fight again. And it just, to me, it's just gonna continue on with the greatness of
or you got to give it. It's not just one; it was 3 in a row. Walter Walker with his heel hooks.
Ouch! He wanted so much money.
3 in a row with the heel hooks, man. Yeah, I might have to give it to him. It wasn't just one; it was 3.
It was 3. Okay, Walter Walker gets submission of the year. So you get Walter, I get Bryce. I love it, dude. That's amazing. That was. I mean, when you get 3 of those same submissions, you can also say Chris Duncan too. Chris Duncan gets an honorable mention. Nah, we'll give him a trophy too. You get an FCOP. This isn't gonna be like Oprah though. We ain't gonna give out all these awards, but Chris Duncan for being impressive, having it, and then actually talking with me a few times through messaging and stuff like that, and I entered at one of his contests for his fight gear from that fight when he fought. Oh man, why am I having it? I'm having such a bad day. Jordan Vucinic.
Yeah, I mean that man jumps the guillotine no matter what he's doing. He just jumps the guillotine. He jumps the guillotine no matter what.
Yeah, I like that one. I mean, a lot of people talked about Dvalishvili on Sean O'Malley.
Yeah,
that's a cute one. But,
yeah, it was cute, but whatever.
Yeah. So speaking about that, comeback of the year.
Comeback of the year, man.
Yeah.
Man, that I got to give it to Josh Van.
Josh Van?
Yeah, I got to give it to Josh Van because he was getting beat up by what's his name? Royval. Yeah, Brandon Royval.
Ooh, comeback of the year. You know what? I love it. You know what I really love, and why it should be. That fight's gonna come up one more time in this match, but my comeback of the year is Neil Magny versus Jake Matthews. When Neil Magny spammed that chokehold, we had the end of the first round. Was he out? Wasn't he out? Nobody knew. It was over. Dude runs over again. Matthews runs over again. He's choking him out. He's getting tired. Neil Magny counters. Neil Magny gets the win.
Yep.
He was just such an underdog in that fight.
I picked him that fight.
Yeah. Yes, that was your soup can of the week.
Yeah.
that to me right there just shows exactly. But now that we're kind of getting into the meat and the potatoes, we got the comeback, we got the debuts, we got the rookies, we got let's take a second and let's reminisce it. Out of all the calls we made, what would you consider as call of the year? We made a lot, people. We
Man,
made hundreds of calls of the year. This is hard.
call of the year. I like the Pereira loss that I called.
To Ank,
But yeah, to Ank.
that's call of the year. That was
To,
pretty bold.
to me, it was a bold pick because everybody was picking Pereira just to beat him up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's kind of one of those things that when you get that kind of substantial, when you get that huge kind of call, what it makes. I don't want to regurgitate that, but for me, it's going to be my. I've made a lot of calls. I don't know which one was cooler. If the RDR one was cooler, or
That
if
was
the
a good one.
Carlos Oberberg one was cool.
The RDR one was badass because you called how he was going to win on that with the
Yeah,
knee.
you hit the knee.
You
Of all
you
things,
called
the
it
knee.
you called it to the T.
So that's going to be it. We also hit a plus 2,300 on that for that call. You know what? Another thing was crazy is
I really
when I was what's that?
I was going to say I really like my Michael Johnson pick too.
I was going to wait for that. The Michael Johnson pick. That was another pick you brought up last week that we talked a little bit about. But he literally was like a plus what 1,600 as a money line.
Yeah.
That was insane that you had that crazy line. But that RDR pick when he fought Bo Nickel, that was insane. But that wasn't even the best call. Actually, the best call of that night was the 20 plus 2,600, and I can't remember offhand who that was. Of course, this is like way back in the day, like back earlier in the year. So it was on the same card, and I always just kind of go to the RDR one. But when we talked about it, it was to me it was one of those calls where we hit a 2,600 and a 2,300 on the
Yeah.
same card. Where was the round robining then?
Yeah. Crazy. Crazy.
That to me is where it took off because even though that was one of the first like big highlights, we had been winning money. I had been learning the whole fight queue up to that, and then we get through Allen beating RDR, and I'm going back to the nickel, the fight card because I'm gonna get that. I thought that was Sanhagen Figueredo, and so that got performance of the night, and then also that was the Daniel Rodriguez. Yeah, no, that wasn't Daniel Rodriguez. It was, I think it was on the. It was Daniel Rodriguez. That was no, that was Gaston Paul. Yes, it was the Daniel Rodriguez knockout. He went into that fight as a plus 102 against Santiago Ponzinibbio,
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah,
and in
yeah.
round 3 he knocked him out. His knockout prop alone was a plus 2,600.
Yeah,
That
and you called that because I took Ponzo in that.
Ponzo. But so that card again, that was a big one, and then Sanhagen, of course, getting the knockout. That was right there. That was 3 knockouts we would have had. And the way I play the UFC now, I would have had that. I would have had that round robin, and that bet with the nickel knockout plus 2,300, a plus 2,600, and then of course throwing in the
Well,
Sanhagen.
if you don't forget, you picked Bo Nickel to win that fight.
I did.
I picked RDR to win, and you said how he was going to win.
Yeah. And that's why we have 2 sides. and Dan was more, he knew RDR a lot better than I did, and of course a lot of the fight tape. That's where watching all the fight tape and watching all these fighters fight this year really helped. And then now it's all together, all tuition. I love it, but yeah, that's what I'm going with. All right, so that's call of the year, and that's pretty much bet of the year as well too.
Yeah.
Unless you can think, I mean, I can't think of one better. Both those bets were plus 23, plus 2600, but we hit multiple plus 1800s, plus
Yeah.
1700s, plus 2100s. We hit parlays that were plus 3200. We did this all year, and a matter of fact, we ended the year literally. I think it was the. I think I went 3-2, but I went 4-1 and 4-1 on the others, and then we were coming off of 4 weeks of at least one of the parlay of pain or the what was my article, the Five-tastic picks. Those articles went 5-0 or 4-1 literally for 1 month straight at the end. So
That's
you're
awesome.
just winning a freaking parlay or going 4-1 and getting the round robin action.
Yeah.
Paid back. So I mean, those are the best bets overall. But I still think that you throwing the money down on Michael Johnson straight up on a money line, getting that money line that high was also just as fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
All right. Before we get to let's throw a plug in. Everybody, you all work out. You know I'm a fighter. If you're looking for that extra edge, check out W Energy. Use code word Bring the Energy, and you will get 10% off of your purchase. On top of that, there's no dyes, no fillers, none of that extra stuff. I have been using it religiously for 2 weeks now, and normally I take a full dose, and I usually only slam so much of it, and then I ride with my other drinks because of the way I have my diet. That's the way I run my diet when I fight. So I did notice there's no crash. They do advertise that, no crash. I never felt me come down. I felt like I was right here at this level. I highly recommend giving W Energy drink a shot. So that's definitely it. Bringing the Energy is your code word. Let's make that money. Also, look at these great shirts, people. Get over to Bring the Pain at T Public and buy yourself Fight Club of Pain. Buy yourself a Bring the Pain mug, or my redesign is coming in. That's my logo right over there. That's going to be on a shirt very, very, very soon, now that I got the time to do it.
It's right above me. It's right here.
It's right there. Right
It's
there.
right there.
Best fight of the year. I'll just give you mine. It is Royval versus Van.
I was trying to think of something different, but
I know.
I mean that is fight of the year.
Yeah.
That it really is. It's fight of the year.
I've never seen two men punch themselves so hard and so many times in the face. And nobody fall.
Yeah. I mean Royval and Van. And I gave Van the comeback of the year on that fight. So
yeah.
That got to be fight of the year.
Yeah, that's, to me, that right there gives me another, it's just, again, you set the record for most significant strikes in a UFC fight. It was high paced. There wasn't even a lot of blood. And then, of course, I know Royval at the end practically lost by, he slipped. He kind of was a weird, awkward position he got in. He went down, Van got on top, and immediately went to the ground and pound to get as many points or get the look. He ended the fight like that. That's why Van won. That's why Van got the shot with Pantoja. So, but for me, yeah, I'm all about that, man. That to me is the big moment right there. I just can't find another fight that gets close to it.
I can't either. I'm looking it up right now. I can't.
Yeah, there's just nothing close. What would you're gonna take two guys wrestling around for a while? What were you talking about? Kelvin Gastelum versus Spevix or something now? What? No, I'm not talking about that fight. I'm just naming people, but
yeah,
we're not doing this. This is why those guys are cut now. because they're boring fighters. They're boring fighters. Nobody wants to see them. And that's the way I think it feels like when he gets everything over. You know what's crazy too is that my NFL thing it will not let me scroll. So I'm just kind of stuck where I'm at. And I was just looking. I know that means nothing to you, but so when we get out of here, I'm not going to have my music. That kind of makes me mad. I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know why. I was like moving it around, and all of a sudden it just says, "Nope, that's not going to work now." Hit override. So then I started messing around with these things, and then now I'm like, "Oh, okay." So, with that being said, we both agreed with that. It's hard to think. Let's move along. The best women's fighter of the year. Who gets your award?
Dude, it has to be the GOAT, Valentina Shevchenko.
I second that.
I mean, she's untouchable. She's untouchable. I mean, I don't think she's lost a round in the last 3 years.
No, you brought that up too during our fight talk, and to me, that right there is setting the record.
Yeah.
Showing the belts. Dominating someone who is dominating herself.
What?
Zhang Weili. That okay, so if we were gonna go back to fight of the year, that wouldn't be fight of the year because Shevchenko showed she was the bigger, badder, stronger fighter. That was just a great fighter beating another fighter no matter how great or how Weili tried to get out of it. Shevchenko had an answer for everything.
So what Shevchenko is doing right now hasn't been seen since George St. Pierre.
Yeah.
So St. Pierre was so dominant in every one of his fights that people wanted him to lose, and people called him boring because he would wrestle the strikers and he would box the wrestlers. And he was so good at everything that it became just repetitive. As soon as his fight was announced, you're like, all right, he's going to win by decision, because that's what he did. And she is the female George St. Pierre.
Yep. Whatever way she finds a way, and that goes to the training, that goes to the camp, that goes for everything. I totally agree with that. All right. Men's Fighter of the Year award goes to Dan. Talk about it.
I got to give it to Merab Dvalishvili, man. He was 3-1 in this year, and he defended a title 4 times in a calendar year, which has never been seen before. Did he get beat up in his last fight? Yeah, but I think it was because he did so much in so little time. I mean, he fought every 3 months.
Yes.
And he was dominant in 3 out of 4 fights. I have to give it to him. But on the other hand, I could also give it to Peter Yan.
Okay.
Because he was very dominant in both his fights this year, and he proved why he's the champion this year. So I mean, I love that division. I don't think that division gets enough credit.
Yeah.
But Fighter of the Year, man, I got to give it to Merab.
And we talked about this. I do agree with you as well too. And when you think about Fighter of the Year and him losing his belt and that match at the very end, and I thought about Pantoja, but for me, what set Dvalishvili off from everybody else was the level of his opponent. Even outside of this year, you're talking, if you go back to the Yan fight, even the Aldo fight, the Moraes fight, that's where you could just say, whatever. But you got Cejudo. All right. But then you have O'Malley versus Dvalishvili 1. Boom. Then you go Nurmagomedov. Boom. Then you go O'Malley again. Boom. Then you go one of the hottest fighters right now and out It almost got choked. How he didn't choke out Corey Sandhagen
Right.
multiple times?
Or knock him out. He almost knocked him out in the second round.
Yeah, yeah. He took him apart, and Sandhagen has been on a tear himself. There's a reason why he deserved that fight. There's a reason why he was in that fight.
Yep.
Rob just took him apart. He did what Shevchenko did to Zhang Weili.
Yeah.
And then you finally, after wrestling, fighting that much of that level of opponent, your body just taps out sometimes. That's why even in point fighting, when the season starts, all the fighters are there. It's after the holidays. It's a month or two in. They're all there, and then they all get beat up by me. And by the end of the season, they're nowhere to be found because they're done. They're tired. They're old, and they don't want to deal with the shit anymore. The Rob Rush just done with it. They don't want no part of that.
Yeah. I mean, we've never seen a fighter dominate the way he did 3/4 of this year.
Yes. That was.
I mean, you've never seen it before because it's never happened. So
Yeah. And for me, that goes back again to the level of quality that the UFC has had, and just being able to be a fighting champion, get it out there. We could go back to what Cena did with the U.S. title. I know that's fake, but it draws people. You talk about this. I listen to the Talk is Jericho all the time, and he brings up how, like, and he'll say, anytime we would put Rey Mysterio on a card, that card would always sell. His merchandise would always sell because people just love Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
So this is what people like. People love. People like Sean O'Malley. People like Max Holloway. And you could say John Jones and GSP, and even some of us liked Ronda Rousey. Don't be hating, people. Some of you guys like Ronda Rousey and girls. So, am I wrong? I mean, people did like her. So,
star power, man.
Star power.
They all had star power, and I don't know if Merab has star power, but he does have fighting talent. He is one of the top 5 fighters in the world. So it doesn't matter. That's pound for pound. So
yep, yeah, he's definitely top 5. He's in there, and again, no knock on a lot of these fighters as well too. We had a lot of great fights this year. We had a lot of bad fights.
Yeah.
Do you think that what Shevchenko was able to accomplish this year trumps what Merab was able to do?
No, because she didn't fight she didn't defend that title 4 times.
Yeah.
That's right. He defended his title 4 times. That's unheard of in 1 year.
That's and for that to happen for you, like this year, I won't lie. I just said that a lot of my people were wore down. I won't lie that I was in some ways maybe wore down, but my body's so attuned to it that I was ready to go out there and fight and still be able to go 110%. But again, point fighting is different. I'm not getting wrestled down and beat on, having my ribs crunched, having my legs jacked up. I'm not having any of that. If I had that going on, taking 4 fights like that, I probably wouldn't be taking 4 fights.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Taking 4 fights in 1 year, that means he never left training camp. Ever. He never left training camp. As soon as he was done fighting, he went straight into another training camp.
I'll throw out a shout out to Ange on We Want Picks. He brought that out about Kyle Barallo when he went into that fight, and I just saw that fight. But anyway, what he went. I'll name the fight in a second. When he went into that fight, not his last fight, the fight previous that. When he went, he's literally been at every UFC event.
Yeah.
He's literally been at every UFC event. So Ange goes, when is he actually training? Because he's in the stand all the time. So for me, that happening right there alone is kind of where, if you're in the gym too much, does it just eventually you just slip up? Or if you're not in the gym enough, you definitely are most likely going to slip up.
if you work out too much, you know this. Your body starts to fail you. When
Yes.
when I fought, man, the more I trained, Marab's not a young guy. Marab's in his late 30s
Yep.
or mid 30s. Um, your body starts to wear down, and it doesn't matter how great a shape you're in. Your body needs rest.
Yep.
And I think it was just a big cumulation of everything that happened in that Peter Yan fight.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Too much training, too many title defenses, too much pressure, and I mean he had the weight of the world on his shoulders, and
Yep.
look what it got him. You know,
Yeah.
it lost him his
So
belt.
that was the Imavov fight. Imavov versus Baralo. That was his last fight. I was just completely all thing. And of course, as we know, that was a September 6th fight.
Yeah,
Baralo had fought Cannonier on August 24th.
yeah,
And he had been to all of these different events in all between this and before those fights because, of course, he fought back on May 4th's card when he fought Paul Craig. So for me, when I'm looking at these fights, I'm looking at that. I agree. Sometimes you got to have the perfect chemistry to go in. Like right now, I could have went last Tuesday and fought. I took the day off. I gave myself, time. This week we fought yesterday.
yeah.
That made one. I will tell you this: fighting and watching a Los Angeles Rams game. Nah. That was wild, man. That was wild, dude. I was jacked up. I was at one point. I was just over by the door like this because it was so bad. It was
Man,
so bad.
and I think that was Stafford's chance to get the MVP,
Yeah,
and he didn't. I think he lost it yesterday.
yeah. I think to Drake, man. I think Drake May.
God, I hope not.
I 5 touchdowns, man. Like
Man,
he's just been getting.
I'm a Steeler fan. I hate the Patriots.
I know, I do too. I don't like him, but the thing is maybe he still wins it. Maybe the votes still come in. Maybe he ends strong. I really think he would have definitely got it. The Rams just needed to beat. They needed to beat Seattle, but they ended up splitting. That happens. They split with San Francisco too.
Yeah.
Get Arizona next week. But at the same time, I don't know if that's gonna. If he goes out and throws 5 touchdowns, that might make it a case. If he goes out and gets us to the NFC Championship game, that might make a case. But until
Yeah.
then, I don't know. I think you're right about that. Maybe I'm wrong with Drake, man. I don't know.
He's playing lights out though, man. He really is.
Yeah, and up until that, the one thing that was, I looked over at the wife and I go, he just tied the most pick sixes in NFL season. It wouldn't be much more just to break that record, and he almost did.
Yeah.
He almost did. I was flipping out. I was like, no, and then big catch by Puka called back by illegal formation.
Yep.
I was just, I was besides myself. But another thing too is, I had a lot of implication. I was going up against Bijan Robinson in that championship, so he stressed me the hell out. This dude had Bijan and Kyle Pitts, and I was like, all right, 3 touchdowns, 100-some yards, Bijan. That's like 46 points. I said, my kicker's going to need some points, and I had Mevis for the Rams, and he ended up getting like 7 or 8, and I ended up winning by 7 points. So it was close.
There you go. Your kicker won you the game.
It did. It was just enough defense to stop a 229 rushing 2 touchdown, and he got a bonus for the 98 yards. He got a 40 and a 50 bonus wrapped together for 4 points extra. So I was getting a little scared, and I was like, I thought it was a lot closer. And then I went and checked, and it was like I was 14. Bless you, 14
Thank
points.
you.
I was like, woo! I was like, I got it, dude. They are so mad at me in that league. They're so mad at me in that league. Like, they did not want me to win at all. I mean, I gave up the title last year.
Yeah.
And I said, keep it warm. I'm coming back for it. It's my title again.
You got it.
And that's kind of where fantasy football can go. You kind of find somebody like Josh Allen. That's who started that for me. I was always about get your quarterback late, and we were always a two keeper. So I'd always keep my quarterback, keep a wide receiver, keep a quarterback, keep my running back. So then eventually the commissioner got, his name's Keith. Keith got a little olded with that and a couple of the other savvy guys. He's savvy himself too. Saying, all right, I think at our skill level, we can't be keeping two keepers. We're going to keep one. So now I literally keep just Josh Allen. And a lot of people would not keep Josh Allen because he's a quarterback and they feel that, and they could have had Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes was practically second to Josh Allen going up into that injury in fantasy points scored this season. And what that allowed to do is that allowed someone to pick late. Or Matt Stafford. Somebody like Matt Stafford picking him in the 10th round. That's huge, man.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to fantasy football, you have to make a choice. But I remember my buddy Dave, and he was in this league. He had Aaron Rodgers for a long time, and he goes, the other positions are nice, but the quarterbacks are the one that consistently have those big games.
Yeah.
So I was always a Ben Roethlisberger guy. So I was like, I'll take Roethlisberger. Everybody hates him. I'll get him late. So I'd have like Roethlisberger and Bortles, and I would have those guys just starting between it. And so for the other guys, he would have Aaron Rodgers, but he wasn't a good picker. So he would always go for the people, and I had his favorite guy, Greg Jennings. So I was keeping him, and then keeping people like Aaron Jones and other players at that time that just could have been anybody. Steven Jackson, there was just a lot of players, Le'Veon Bell, that I would pair with these guys. So now it's one of those things to where, he said, keep the quarterback, and I've seen it. Because when a quarterback has those 5 touchdowns in this league, you get 40, 50 points. But Josh Allen was able to score over 30 points so many times this year.
Yeah.
If you go back to Bijan, you see Bijan, you're like, Bijan's getting the 20s and 30s. Where are you getting that? Sometimes I think in how I will defend Bijan Robinson as the number 1 pick, as our number 1 pick in our league that I picked, and why he was better than Jamar Chase going into the season is exactly why he did what he did yesterday.
Yeah.
A running back like that sometimes cannot be stopped. And a receiver can always be stopped by getting blocking.
To me, he's one of the top 2 backs in the league.
Yeah. Who's the other guy?
I like Jamar Gibbs, man.
I agree with Gibbs.
I'm a Gibbs fan.
Yeah. We need to see more out of him. And I talked with Chris from the Pot of Thunder, because he's a huge Detroit Lions fan. And we talked a lot about that. And he said they need to lean and give the ball more to Gibbs. And they did, and you had those explosive weeks.
Yeah.
But like fantasy football, you need consistency sometimes. You need consistency. And
they also have Montgomery, so they like to give Montgomery the ball too. So.
Well, they can run them both. They're both great running backs. It's just at some point you kind of have to move on. I almost feel it's almost like, and this is nowhere in skill comparison, but what happened with Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco? Pacheco always gets hurt. Kareem Hunt's in there. Kareem Hunt's more dynamic. He's the better overall player. But Pacheco's there because of what Kareem Hunt's past, or what he did in his past, and the Chiefs turned their back on him, then eventually let him back into the organization, and that's where things heal and things like that. And so for me, when I see that, you got to remember that in fantasy football, you could look at your draft and you could be like, I got this guy, I got that guy, I got that guy, but we need those big games. And I was stressed. I benched. I had Brock Purdy. I picked him up, and I had Brock Purdy because I had that questionable tag right next to Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Ended up being a bad decision. Even though I won by 7 points with Josh Allen starting, 25 points is what Josh Allen got me. And Purdy got 44. So that would have been the only bad decision I made for this championship, other than having Breece Hall. And outside of Breece Hall's 59-yard run, he was scoring 10 points just like Jalen Warren, just like Walker, just like Gianti. So those were my 4 running backs. But I mean, when we look, when you look back, I picked up Harold Fannin. I drafted. ESPN thought that in this league, this is that Chris Olave was my best pick, and he was. He scored literally like 38 points 2 weeks ago, and then he just scored like another 30 points in the championship. So that was, but I feel it was Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams, I got a little. I mean, I did get Olave in the 10th round.
Yeah, Adams was a stud for me this year until he got hurt, man.
14 touchdowns. And when I wrote my preseason article up on him, I had him catching a lot more balls. But and I do want to give credit to another host of another show for another site, Jeff Mans, that Jeff brought up that was the Rams running back. That Devontae Adams was the Rams running back. And me being a Rams fan, Adams was on my team for a reason, because I knew that Adams has that size near the goal line to get the job done. And people are going to be so zeroed in on Puka that they can't, they have to respect that. And now we have Parkinson's coming up, and Mumfield, and all these guys, because Matt Stafford makes them look good. It comes back to the quarterback.
Yeah, Matt Stafford's been good forever. He's been good forever. He was good when he played on an 0-16 Lions team.
Yeah, he was. And, I'll go back to this is why you need teams like this. The Steelers felt that they had to trade away George Pickens because they felt that DK Metcalf and Pickens wasn't going to work. They found out this week why you have to have two good receivers in this league and not MVS. Because
I got nothing.
He couldn't catch that ball.
Did you see? Did you watch that game?
Yeah, I watch every game.
All right. Adam Thielen and Gainwell were open every play, and he did not throw them the ball.
Yeah.
They were open every play.
Yep.
Adam Thielen just standing there in the middle of the field like this.
Yep.
And Gainwell wide open all the time. In the end zone on that last throw, wide open.
Yeah.
And he did not throw the ball.
And for me, I don't know if this comes down on, well, Rodgers threw it. If Rodgers made those calls and he felt that he wanted to do that, the problem is you're throwing it to MVS, a guy who has had suspect hands, has never had a consistent career. I did write him up this year, though, but I wrote him up on the Seattle Seahawks.
But that's Aaron Rodgers' boy. So, like, they're friends. So, of course he was going to get playing time.
Yeah, and I'm fine with him getting the play time, but MVS is not that goal line guy.
No.
MVS is not that. That would have actually been Adam Thielen. Or what I know that Washington got hurt. Jonnu Smith. You had
Freiermuth
down there.
You have Freiermuth wide open all the time.
And they throw it to MVS, and that's why I'm saying DK Metcalf catches a fourth down pass.
He threw the ball to Scotty Miller 10 times in that game. 10 times. Scotty Miller.
Good old Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Scotty Miller.
Yeah.
Like, people, this is not a wide receiver corp in Pittsburgh. It's a tight end corp. And I know that falls on Arthur Smith in the way he wants to use things. But when your receiver gets a little wild, gets a suspension, and then you don't have somebody big, strong to outfight a defender on a simple jump ball to win the game, that alone lets you know that you made a bad decision by trading away Pickens and not at least making a trade by the trade deadline that we talked about multiple times. That I'm not even a Steelers fan, but I don't understand why they thought that this was all a great idea.
The whole thing is they thought they had something in Roman Wilson, and Roman Wilson, he doesn't get playing time. No. And they think they have something in Calvin Austin, and Calvin Austin is too small. He's too small.
Yeah, I think Wilson is Calvin Austin. They're both the same size. I think Wilson's 1 inch taller. Here's the problem. They both suck.
Yeah, Calvin Austin, the ball hits him in his hands and it just bounces. He catches every pass with his body.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot catch with his hands.
Here's the thing, Tutu Atwell. The Rams gave him all that money. I thought that he would have a bigger role this year. He didn't do shit, and he dropped a long ball yesterday that could have set us up to win that game or tie that game. That Tutu Atwell is your guys' Calvin Austin.
Yeah.
And if you notice, the Rams, especially Matt Stafford, was throwing to Smith and Mumfield more than he wanted to throw to Tutu Atwell. Yet Tutu Atwell, don't quote me on it, people, gets paid more than probably both of them put together.
I just don't get it. I mean, get in the offseason, get rid of Calvin Austin, get rid of Roman Wilson. Roman Wilson project is over, I hope.
Yeah, it's got to be. You
guys
can't do this.
He has great hands. I'll give it to him. He has great hands, but he can't run a route to save his life.
No. He reminds me of Pickens in his first couple of years where he had really bad, like, out of bounds, like line play. I call it line play. Like,
yeah.
He was just always stepping out of line trying to catch a ball. He didn't know how to get his feet down and stuff like that. He was a rookie.
He can't run a basic route. He can't run a basic route to save his life. He's always in the wrong place. Same with MVS. MVS is always in the wrong place. He runs the wrong routes.
Yes. And all MVS does is...
Yeah. And when you ask him to run a route, he can't. He goes the wrong way.
Yeah, and that's why he tried that. And I know he's Aaron Rodgers' boy, but he's his boy because he loves chucking the ball up to him. When you ask that man to play wide receiver, this is what you get.
Yeah, DK can't play. I say start Adam Thielen on the outside. He's our best bet.
Yeah. If you're gonna be running plays for slow ass tight ends, you might as well be throwing it to slow ass wide receiver Adam Thielen.
He has the best hands on the team, other than DK.
And I think right now that you guys are doing a lot, like you guys are sneaking in Jalen Warren on kick returns now. So
we got to do something. Something. I mean,
guys are benefiting from that.
I mean that offense looked good the past couple weeks until DK went out.
Yep. That's where he was kind of heating up.
Yeah, and then the defense looks good right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not getting beat very badly. They're playing bend don't break, and that's the Steelers' way. Bend don't break.
That's right.
Let up the middle, let up the little stuff, and don't let people get over your head.
So, that being said, we're talking about all those things. NFL, the playoffs are coming up, and I know that you do the whole fantasy football thing. So there's the best ball playoffs, and a few years ago, I fell in love. And I'm not a best ball guy, but for the last couple of years, I've been able to do some season-long best ball and win some money off of it. And I decided a few years ago, I was like, I'm going to do playoff best ball. So practically, and I'm explaining this for the people that don't know, and for, Dan's he's not overly used to it. So what season best ball is, or playoffs best ball is you just make a draft, but you only draft the players in the playoffs. If your team loses, you of course lose that player. You move on, right? So then the next week, after wild card weekend, and we get into the championship weekends and stuff like that, you could do another best ball. So the whole ride to the Super Bowl, I just keep best balling. And a lot of people have different strategies. Best ball being your top scorers are going to be in your lineup at any moment. You don't have to start and sit them. They just get put in there. You don't do anything. So that's kind of the same way with the UFC best draft that we got going on that I was telling you about.
Okay.
So that's what it's like. So it just gives you your top 3 scores. Well, this gives you your top offense. And if you guess it right, you'll have players all the way to the Super Bowl. And I had only Kansas City because everybody went after KC because I picked late that year, the year I did it. I made it all the way to the finals. And the finals were, I made a $135. I placed in the top like 18 or 19%. So it's like the top 10, top guy was like $1 million. Second person was like $200,000. Third was this, that, and the money comes on down, and then you get to that pot. But to get to that, I had to go through the entire season.
Yeah.
Well, no, I went through this was a playoff lineup. So I went through the entire playoffs, and when I got to the Super Bowl, all I had was Noah Gray. The only chief I could get was Noah Gray. And I got him. And he got a couple points. But, if I had a chance to actually get the other players, I did it. But that's where I like to look at the best ball thing, and you select this team. All right, now you have these players. If you have a chance to switch it up that next week, select these guys, and try to nail that. So then by the time the Super Bowl's over, you not only have practically, hopefully, hedged yourself, but at the same time have been able to, if you picked right originally, you've got the most money to make in that championship, because the big monies are the ones that are going to be up after the regular season ends this weekend. So
yeah,
it's fun, dude.
So I'm going to say it right here in front of everybody. I have a proposition for you.
Yes.
If the Steelers win on Sunday, will you come to the playoff game with me at Heinz Field?
It depends on what's happening.
My treat.
I would be fine with that. It just, we gotta figure out, like, if that's the weekend that the dance is. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I don't know if I buy tickets and you don't come, I'm gonna be mad.
You guys got to beat the Ravens first.
That's what I'm saying. If we win, come down and we'll go to the game at Acrisure, a playoff game.
Let's see it happen. If it could happen, dude, I'll make it happen. We'll make it happen, especially after winning the championships.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's get there, because I know I ain't gonna see the Rams on this side of the town. Well, actually, the Rams are going to be in Philly.
Yeah, well, I mean, to me, that's a 5-hour drive. For you, that's probably a 6 or 7 hour drive.
Yeah. I don't think I want to go to Philly anyway.
No.
I get mugged or something. I'm not that big city kind of dude, even though I'm from Erie, PA, where it's a city, but it ain't Philly. It ain't Pittsburgh.
You said you've never been to Acrisure.
No.
Come down, man. We'll go, and it's a playoff game. So
I'll wear my Steven Jackson jersey because it's gold.
There you go.
I do have a Bettis jersey somewhere, but I haven't seen that. I mean, I think I know where it is, but I don't have my Rams Bettis jersey anymore, because I would wear that.
There you go.
I would do that, but I think I probably would end up wearing my Steven Jackson jersey, because it's the third color gold. It's an all gold, so that'd be your yellow. I know you guys are yellow, but I would blend it. I would blend it just nicely.
Hey, it's all right. Well, you see so many different jerseys down there. It's fine.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, let's see if we could get together for that. Man, we got on this one. We got an hour. We got 90 minutes of straight fun ass times and good.
Yes,
times
sir.
and all that stuff, dude. I'm ready to have some drinks. I don't have to go into work later. I mean, I would be having a drink, but I didn't get anything brought to me, and I'm out of coffee. So,
I don't know. My boss called me while we were doing this, so I don't know what's going on. So I got to call him as soon as we're off of here.
Look at the world's trying to get us and stuff, man. Dude, I gotta tell you some crazy shit later after we get off the road, because I can't. I don't want to. You already know it's got something to do with my job.
Yeah.
Dude, when you hear this, you're gonna be like, you can't write this up, but you can write this up, because it's practically everyday life for some people. It's wild, dude. I cannot understand it, but we'll talk about that. That's one of these times we're gonna do one of my conspiracy podcasts. We're gonna put it behind the paywall.
Let's go. I'm down.
Make people pay for it. Did Avicii really kill himself or not? One of those things. Was he off? What's going on? There's so many ways we can do some stuff. Is there a hole in Antarctica? Do dinosaurs exist? Did they? Do the Titans, are the Titans the real mountains? Those are the big bodies. People, we got all these things going on, man. But overall for the year, I loved a lot of these fights. There were so many fights going on, and we didn't do a lot. We did some prep for this show, but everything was spontaneous through the show, because I feel that sometimes, even though we'll be like, hold on, let me go look that up, because we're old. We can't think about all this stuff. I can't remember everything.
I
But
can't.
we get hit in the head a lot, people. I
Used to. I used to. I used to. You still do.
Dude, I thought this was an age wrinkle. Yeah, I know y'all can't really see it, so I was like, man, is that an age wrinkle? Because not that I care about that stuff, but I touched it, I was like, ow, no, that's a scratch. It's just one of those things, man, where you just get it. But
I got speed lumps all over my face, man. They don't just go away from getting punched in the face so many times.
you're just like, they're just right there. They're just right there.
They're just there all the time.
So ending the year as a podcaster now and everything else, what's one thing that you truly love about podcasting?
Uh, I love the fact that I'm comfortable now. The first what 5 6 shows, I wasn't very comfortable, man. I'm comfortable now. I'm comfortable being in front of the camera. I'm not a camera guy, but I I like everything about it, truthfully.
Yeah. You know what's funny is that you just said that, and this is in those 5 weeks. Remember that time when my camera got blasted out and you were just sitting here alone? And I was somehow I was just listening to it. It came in and I heard it because what I heard was hello. I think he got dropped or something, and I just
Yeah,
started laughing. Yeah, that was it. Now it's like you had that happen. Now you're like, okay, I'm gonna start talking some crazy stuff. The Steelers need to
yeah.
fire Mike Tomlin, whatever, blah blah blah. You just
I mean, if it ever happens again, I'll just talk. I'll just talk about the next fight.
yeah, yeah, definitely, man. It just to me again shows it. You know, and for me, again, I'll go back to what I said last week. Just the growth, being able to learn a new sport, being able to talk with you, talk with Angelo, talk with Juicebox Walker, talk with Connor Seifert from here in Erie. Just in so many more interviews I did this year. Simon Shackleton, Chris. To me, to have people on and to actually relate to people, have a great conversation. A lot of these people that we've just recently met, like Juicebox, we just met him. He's not somebody you're going to run into every single day. He lives in Springfield, Missouri. This is somebody
Yeah,
you don't know other than watching on the UFC fight. So for him to be able to come on, that's just one of those great things. But that's how podcasting connects people, and that is the true harmony of life. If it is podcasting right now, then it should be podcasting right now because I think people have lost the art of communication, and I think that podcasting brings that back. And I think that that's one thing that I leave this year going into next year that I reiterated, but also makes me feel confident going into the future that we can continue to grow like this as a podcast and continue to have great times like this with all the guests coming in the future.
yeah, yeah, man. I truthfully, next year I just want to grow and just continue to get more comfortable with doing it, man.
Yeah, yeah. And that's going to come, with more things that being able to outsource. I've talked to, 138 MMA a few times, and he doesn't check his matches as often, but he had talked to me, and then he has a lot of his own shows planned. Plus, of course, he's probably doing something for Ryzen tomorrow night. So for them, it's UFC, it's PFL, it's Ryzen, it's boxing. Whereas for me, I have baseball, football, and UFC. I have just other things I have to pay for because, of course, NFL is the globally the best sport all around. It's the moneymaker on Sirius XM, which is why I don't understand they won't do UFC because you can use the UFC year round, whereas football is only once a year. So you
Yeah,
can, even if they want to cycle out hosts like the Fight Club of Pain or not, you're able to at least listen to your listeners and give them something to look forward to instead of the same old regurgitated baseball stuff. Because all those guys last year were all talking about Jamar Chase and all that. Well, Jamar Chase didn't make my championships. He wasn't in any championships that I went. Maybe he was in yours, but he wasn't in mine. A lot more people say Puka was on the teams, and that's what the census is that Puka Nakua got everybody to the championship. But as you heard earlier today, my teams had Devontae Adams. My teams didn't have those guys. They had people like Josh Allen, and that's just the key, man. That's what happens, and that's why you got to draft. You have to think about drafting a quarterback or a running back, because I feel that when there's a one motion, and this is what I've always said, when there's one motion, and I'm not talking about throwing. Let's get this right. You're handing off to somebody. He's taking the ball. You're throwing the ball to somebody. But as we saw with the Rams games yesterday, interceptions popped out and everything like that. So that's what happens in life. That's what we do, man.
Yes, sir.
That's how you bring the pain. Ooh, yeah. All right, bud. Super long episode. I want to thank you.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the new year. You got anything before we get out of here?
No, man. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
And since my thing won't scroll, you don't get no music. But guess what you get? You get some beatboxing. Yo, people, the pipe of a pain. Gonna be the best. People want to know that. Let's make it rain. Cash all day. We gonna be winning. Let's go and slay. Woo!
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.